So, picture this. The year is 2008. Marvel fans across the globe are sitting in theaters watching Iron Man. The movie is wrapping up, and we see Tony Stark standing at a press conference. He's holding cue cards, he's just been given strict instructions to play it safe with the press, complete with a carefully crafted cover-up story. And then, Tony Stark looks up and drops 4 words. I am Iron Man. The press room absolutely explodes, except for Christine Everhart, who already kinda knew. In theaters, the audience loses their minds. Black Sabbath starts blasting and the credits roll. It was a peak cinematic experience. And at the time, we all just thought it was an incredibly cool ending. But looking back today, some 16 or 17 years later, you realize it wasn't just a cool ending. It was a cinematic singularity. It was the exact moment all the old rules of storytelling were shattered, permanently altering the DNA of the modern blockbuster. Today, we're talking about that one single line, which was actually improvised, and how that split-second decision completely redefined the superhero genre. To really get this, we have to look at how superhero movies were made before 2008. Back then, superhero was essentially synonymous with secret identity. The mask wasn't just a costume, it was the central tension of the movie. A massive chunk of the plot always revolved around whether the hero's identity was safe. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy is the perfect example. Peter Parker's entire life revolved around that secret. How do I tell MJ? What happens if the villains find out? The burden of secrecy was the drama. In Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne literally says, Batman must be a symbol, not a man. Separating the vigilante from the personal life was the ultimate requirement. That was the formula. The hero hides their powers, they lie to their loved ones, the villain attacks the city just to draw the hero out because they don't know who's under the mask. And if an identity ever did get revealed, it was saved for the grand climax, a tragic, emotional payoff. But here's the thing you have to understand. Pre-2008, keeping the mask on wasn't just a creative choice, it was a business nightmare to do anything else. For studios, a secret identity was a safety net. As long as the mask stayed on, the franchise could run forever. It made merchandising a breeze. You sell the Batman mask, the Spider-Man suit, the Superman logo. The actor's face was secondary, the symbol was primary. Taking off the mask meant the character would age. They'd develop a public image. Writers would be forced to explain complex continuity in every sequel, how the media, the government, and the world were reacting to this specific person. And let me tell you, Hollywood is terrified of complexity, because complexity means losing control. Plus, studios were terrified of losing the hook. If the hero goes public, the secret identity tension is gone. What drives the next movie? That's why a public reveal was strictly reserved for the end game, the final movie where the hero retires.
But Marvel was in a totally different boat. They had almost nothing to lose. Fox had the X-Men, Sony had Spider-Man. Marvel Studios was literally taking out risky loans and gambling everything on their B-list characters. And when you are in survival mode, you don't follow the formula. You take risks. Desperation breeds innovation. Tony Stark's identity reveal wasn't a safe corporate move, it was an all-in bet. Audiences had been trained for decades to expect the classic ending. The hero successfully hides their identity and stares down at the city from a rooftop alone. So when Tony stood at that podium with his cue cards, we all expected the bodyguard cover story to stick. We fully expected the secret identity drama to carry over into the sequel, because high stakes usually require a secret identity. Instead, Robert Downey Jr. improvised, but it wasn't just a random ad-lib, it was pure character logic. Think about it. Who is Tony Stark? We all know the answer. Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. But he's also a massive narcissist. His ego is so big he has a glowing arc reactor shining through his shirt, and he doesn't even try to hide it. Now, try to imagine a guy like that letting some fictional bodyguard take the credit for his own invention and his own heroism. Psychologically, it's impossible. RDJ said later that reading those cue cards felt dishonest to who Tony was. So he went off script, and Kevin Feige, who was a newly minted producer at a studio that wasn't even owned by Disney yet, made the bold call to keep it in the movie. Feige operated on a principle of plausibility. It was 2008. We had camera phones, a 24-hour news cycle, and the dawn of social media. The idea that the world's most famous tech billionaire could fly around in a metal suit, fight in the streets, and somehow keep it a secret, it made zero sense. So director Jon Favreau and producer Kevin Feige decided to do what felt true to the character and break the golden rule of superheroes. That one single decision changed everything. First, it killed the tired subplot. No more "Tony, where did you disappear to" drama with Pepper Potts. Instead, Pepper is involved from day one. She becomes CEO. She handles the logistics. Their romance is built on trust, not deception. Second, it changed the nature of the conflict. The question went from, is his secret safe? To, how does a hero handle the consequences of their power? Look at Iron Man 2. Tony is in front of the US Senate, openly declaring, "I have successfully privatized world peace. I will protect you from nuclear attack." That only works if the hero is a public figure. This directly laid the groundwork for the ultimate MCU conflict, Civil War. Without public identities, there is no dividing line.
The Avengers, and ultimately, Thanos doesn't win. We are literally still seeing the consequences of that press conference in the MCU today. Third, the villains got realistic. Ivan Vanko attacks Tony directly. Killian sends helicopters straight to Tony's Malibu mansion. When your identity is public, your address is public. Granted, Tony giving out his zip code on live TV in Iron Man 3 was a little dumb, but still, Stark Tower isn't exactly hiding. But why did audiences accept this massive change so easily in 2008? Because the cultural timing was perfect. This was post-9/11 America. After years of the war on terror, covert ops, and hidden agendas, people were exhausted by secrecy. Trust in government institutions was plummeting, and the public was starving for transparency. In that climate, Tony saying, "I am Iron Man," was a cultural expression. It was visible power finally stepping up to the mic and accepting responsibility. Contrast that with faceless drones and classified cover-ups. The audience saw a guy standing in front of a camera saying, "Yeah, that was me in the metal suit last night." They saw authenticity. Marvel gave them a hero who didn't spin the PR, who didn't read the script, but who was just brutally honest. And the box office proved it. The multiplier for Iron Man was 3.23 times its opening weekend. The word of mouth was phenomenal. Critics and fans alike called the movie ballsy and refreshing. It was a psychological shift in pop culture. The long-term ripple effect of this moment is staggering. First, it made the interconnected MCU possible. Nick Fury showing up in the post-credits scene to talk about the Avenger initiative only makes logical sense if he's talking directly to Tony Stark, not some bodyguard. The public identity laid the foundation for the interconnected universe. Second, it revolutionized how Marvel cast its heroes. RDJ was charismatic, flawed, a recovering addict who was very open about his own past struggles. He perfectly merged with Tony's persona. Even Christopher Nolan called it one of the most consequential casting decisions in movie history. After that, Marvel started casting actors for their personalities. Chris Pratt, Paul Rudd, Benedict Cumberbatch, Chadwick Boseman. They weren't traditional action heroes, but their unique charm made them perfect for their roles. "I am Iron Man" wasn't just a punchline, it was a turning point. It was the moment Hollywood decided the old rules wouldn't work anymore, where audiences decided they didn't want perfect masks, they wanted imperfect humans, where the superhero genre tried to match its mythology with modern reality. And the craziest part? It all started with an improvised line. An actor on set thought his character wouldn't lie, a producer trusted his gut, and one scene changed the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe forever. Today, whenever a superhero reveals their identity, whenever a hero accepts accountability, whenever a blockbuster values plausibility over formula, that is all the legacy of that one moment. Tony Stark didn't just take off a mask, he set a new standard. And maybe true heroism really is just having the courage to tell the truth. So guys, this video is part of our Journey to Doomsday series. Next up in this series, we're going to be talking about the Incredible Hulk. But right now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Marvel's approach to making their heroes public versus DC's traditional approach to keeping their identities private? Let's talk about it in detail down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys. Peace.